Hello and welcome to the Comic Zone. I am your host as always, Chriz aka the Mole. And as per usual, this is the Comic Zone, part of X-Pound, and we're here to discuss a comic today. Before we discuss it, let me ask you one simple question. Have you ever asked yourself what would happen if Superman was merged with Frankenstein? Me neither. But this comic reveals all. This is Superman Monster. Basically, this is an Elseworld story, and for those of you not familiar with Elseworld, I'll just read this little bit here where it says, in Elseworld, heroes are taken from their usual settings and put into strange times and places. Some that have existed or might have existed, and others that can't, couldn't, or shouldn't exist. The result is stories that make the characters who are as familiar as yesterday seem as fresh as tomorrow. This is one such story. Bum bum bum. But yeah, okay, it doesn't actually say bum bum bum. I added that. Let's move on. Basically, they merged it together with stuff like it had been called Clark Kent. He's now called Klaus Kent. Instead of Lois, it's Lois. Instead of Lex Luthor, it's Victor Luthor. Pretty good story. As you can see here, when I flick to the back, dunk, if I show you there, and if I show you the front, it's basically Perry White and Commissioner Gordon sat around telling a story. The story is Lex Luthor finds a spaceship. He's been obsessed with creating life. He finds a spaceship. Inside it, there's a skeleton of what I'm assuming is a child. And out of it, a holographic image appears, and it's like, Kal-El, I am your father type deal. And as he starts to talk about how, yeah, you have the properties, and I can explain to you how to resurrect dead and stuff like that, Luthor just grins. And as he's grinning, it just says all he thought was his prayers had been answered. And essentially, he makes a Superman. As you can see him there, and if I show you the back, there, even more so. Essentially, he's Frankenstein's monster mixed with Superman's powers. And it's awesome. It really is awesome. Just like Frankenstein, you get a real sense of who the real monster of the story is, because Superman, he's not a monster. He just wants to be left alone. He wants to do the right thing. And Luthor's worried about, his business is if people find out, basically they're gonna come after him and they're gonna take away his license and he might do jail time. Klaus Kent, the reason I call him Klaus Kent is during this story when he escapes Luthor's lab, essentially he then meets up with the Kents and he goes and lives with them, and the second Luthor finds out, it results in Jonathan Kent having a heart attack, and Luthor just basically with the villagers and stuff leading an attack to try and kill this Superman. It's awesome. Superman tries to get the woman he loves, Lois, and it results in her being shot and killed. Luthor then takes her and makes her into a Frankenstein's monster, which is great because you get a happy ending of Superman flying away with this girl, and that's awesome. And just to show you one of the images when I can find it in this book, there's one image in this book that I find just incredibly awesome. It's a case of finding it though. I probably should use bookmarks for future reference, but still. Okay, we're scrolling through the book. There it is. Remember the iconic image of Action Comics #1 where Superman is holding up the car triumphantly, and this time it's a stagecoach. Don't know if you can see that properly, but it's a stagecoach. There it is. That's kind of cool. It says here at the front it's done by Dan Abnett, Andy Larning, Anthony Williams and Tom Palmer. Like I said, overall, see there's the picture I wanted to show you earlier. That's the skeleton Luthor finds in the ship right there. Has to be a child due to the fact Jor-El comes out of it and starts to tell him about it being his son. It has to be Clark, which means we have to assume in this book Clark died while on Earth. And as you can see, just for comparison to see how this story evolves, I'm going to show you two pictures for 2 pages from here. I just need to find two. There it is. There's number 1, the first shot we see of the Superman, the monster. There he is. As the story progresses, however, near the end we see him there. I think I'm pointing at him. There. Now I'm pointing at him. There. Basically, the more good he becomes and the more he settles in, his cracks start to heal and he becomes closer to the Superman we know. Honestly, it blends both Superman and Frankenstein together pretty well. My only complaint is it's a little too thin, as you can see here. It could have been a little thicker to explain this, but that's my only complaint. It's still an enjoyable book. If you like Elseworld, if you're a fan of Superman, if you're a fan of Frankenstein, or just comics in general, you don't need a lot of information to learn these Elseworlds. That's why I've got another one over there which I'll be reviewing coming up soon, the 3-part Batman one. But essentially you don't need much knowledge to approach these. They're available to buy. Highly recommend you pick up the Superman monster. I give it a 8 out of 10. But as always, I've been your host Chriz, aka the Mole. This has been the Mole Hole / ComicZone / Gaming Zone / everything else I do here. Enough whoring me out. Contact me via Twitter, follow me on Twitter, visit our message boards. Let us know what you want. If you want to see a comic reviewed in the future, let me know. I'll see if I can pick it up. If I can find it, if I can pick it up, I will be reviewing it for you. So, there's that. But as always, like I said, Chriz, aka the Mole. See ya.